The first time I ever heard Todd was Naz, and that album just destroyed me. It was an incredible record. Who are these guys, and how are they making music that sounded like this? And I was playing in a cover band at the time, and we were trying to learn some of the things, and we were not in the ballpark to be able to learn those. So there was something to shoot for. And then years later, after the Michael Stanley Band started, when we were first, we used to do a lot of cover tunes as encores, and we did Open My Eyes for years. We did that one. That was fun. It was always a good thing. But Todd was one of those guys. It's like, yeah, this guy's, there's something going on here you got to pay attention to. And then the Ronda album came out, and that was a whole different thing, and you're going, oh, he's moving someplace else. And then with the other solo albums, it was just coming at it myself first as a songwriter. That was where I first said, like, this guy's an amazing songwriter. I mean, there's things to be learned by looking at what he's doing. And here in Cleveland, it's the old joke around. If you grew up in Cleveland in the 70s and 80s, you thought the four biggest bands in the world were the Michael Stanley Band, Springsteen, Todd, and Roxy Music. Basically because of Kid Leo. But and Todd was always here, and you knew you were going to get a great show. You didn't know what you were going to get, but you knew it was going to be a great show.
I guess the best story I can tell about Todd would be 1970, the first time I ever met him, when he came to our club in Columbus, Ohio, and we had got the word that he was bringing all his own sound equipment and that he didn't need our system. So my sound man decided, okay, this is a great time to rearrange and clean this place up. He tore our system completely down. He had everything in parts on the floor. Todd walked in, his tour manager said, where's the sound equipment? And I said, well, Todd's not using our sound equipment. You have your own. He says, no, we've decided to use yours. I said, that's great. Day of show, we tried to find my sound man, couldn't find him. It took us probably 2 hours to get him there. And then his sound man, my sound man, and whoever else they had upstairs took the rest of the day putting our system back together. And when the show started, they were still doing some wiring up there. But fortunately, it worked, and it was one of those things about Todd, him saying, no, I'm not using your system, and then telling me at the last minute. And I guess when I saw that happen, the rest of the years that I've known Todd didn't change. But when we did our first video with him, he handled almost all of it himself. He was way ahead of his time on video.
Well, it may be hard for people to realize if they check out Cleveland now, but Cleveland was a very seminal market in breaking acts. Right? I mean, and it was a very important stop on tours, very, very big radio-wise. MMS was probably one of the 2 or 3 most powerful stations in the country. And so if somebody broke on there, that was a signpost to a lot of other radio stations that, we better check this out and get on it. And I'm sure, as well as my music, I'm sure this is one of the first places, maybe outside of, Philly, the East Coast type of thing, where Todd got some really, huge exposure. And people loved him.
His performance was good. I enjoyed him. It was the first time I've ever seen him live. In fact, it was the first time I ever saw him, period. And the crowd was great. They all liked him. I thought the performance he put on was fantastic. And I guess that started many, many years of me doing Todd. I did Todd from 1970, all the way up into the 80s. And even when we had our 30th anniversary here at this new location, Todd was there. And every club I opened, I always opened with Todd, Southside Johnny, and the Outlaws. It was always Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Todd opened every club that I built.
Well, he was very unique in the fact that he was able to do everything. When the Something Anything album, which, reputedly he did everything on, from, put the cable across to the microphones, engineer it, to write it, to play all the instruments. I mean, that's that's a musical tour de force. That's just, you know, it's amazing. And especially at the time, because no one, you know, that I was aware of at the time really had like a home studio. You know, that was something, it just was sort of, you know, a dream for everybody. And that he actually had one and was actually utilizing it like that. I think it was inspiring to a lot of other people.
Todd developed a very cultish fan base because I think they recognized that he was much more than just a performer. Todd has done many things in his career. He's produced many albums that have been great. The Meatloaf album was one, was Bat Out of Hell, but he's done many more than that. Todd has been very innovative in the way he creates his tours. His Back to the Bars tour was very unique. I don't know if anybody else that ever did that.
I think I saw almost all of Todd's, you know, if we were in town, if we weren't on the road, I think I saw almost all the things he did. And the first time when we were getting started, first time we played the Richfield Coliseum here, I think it was on New Year's Eve actually, we opened for Todd when he had Utopia on that tour. And that's with the geodesic dome and the whole thing, and that was madness.
I did watch most of his show. Actually, he's here for 2 days, so I probably caught them at different times, but I did catch most of his show. As far as the Laura Green songs, I believe Todd can do anybody's music and do it well. As for being unpredictable, Todd has been unpredictable since I met him in 1970. He's very good at being unpredictable. I don't know if anybody knows what to expect from Todd when he comes up with these ideas of his.
I think Todd's loved here because, first of all, it's really good music. And he's really, he's not above his audience. He's interactive with his audience. Not the fact, but he challenges them because he's not stuck in one place, obviously. He changes a lot. And when you have a fan base that you're that locked into, they give you the freedom to do that, you know. And that's a wonderful thing as an artist. And it's a cool thing as a fan because, you know, you're not quite sure what you're going to get every time you go. And sometimes maybe it's not as cool as the time before, but that's part of the journey that the artist and the fans are taking together.
I think Todd is one of the musicians and one of the entertainers that come along not very often. You know, there are great entertainers out there, but Todd has a way of communicating with his audience. And I don't know if he's learned this in his career or if it just comes natural to him, but it's not just Todd on stage. It's Todd on stage and the people that are watching him. It almost becomes like one family when he starts. And he's a great communicator.
Well, the first time I met Todd, I was working on my first solo album up in New York, and with Joe Walsh and Bill Simzik, and we needed a keyboard player for something. And Joe said, "Well, let's call Todd," you know. And I was like, "Todd? Who?" "Todd Rundgren." I said, "You just can't call up Todd Rundgren." And, "Well, I can. I got his number. I'll call him up." He called him up and asked if he wanted to come down and play keyboards on the thing. And when he got there, he listened to the song. He said, "No, I'd rather play guitar." And Joe said, "Well, I've already done the guitar. You know, we don't need a guitar. We need a keyboard." So he did that. That was the first time I met him, and that's how that's how it was. People just called somebody up, and if they were available, they'd stop down and help you out.
I would say eventually they have to put him in, and it's way past due. I think we're probably going to have to get on the line and start, pumping this thing harder. It took almost 6, 7 years, 8 years of constant online pushing to get Rush in finally. But I think Todd, and if they do, I wish they would put him in when they're in Cleveland, which is in 2 years. So we've got 2 years to push this thing. I'll be here in 2015, and he belongs there. He has done a lot more than most of the people that are in there now.
I think it says that he's a musician, He's a rock star second, you know. He's a musician. He loves music. He loves playing. He loves creating it. There's no reason that this far down the line to do it unless you love it. I mean, I don't think anybody's getting terribly rich at this point, you know, outside the 10 acts in the country. At this point, you do it because you're blessed to have a job that you love and that people are still willing to come out and you know, share the experience with you. And if not, why not? It certainly beats, you know, a lot of other gigs.
I believe that Todd should continue doing what he has done all his life. He's always been innovative. He's always done things that were challenging. He's not afraid to try something new. So the only thing I can say is continue doing what you've been doing.
I think the main influence of Todd's songwriting to me was the fact that it was okay to go in a lot of different directions. Everything didn't have to sound the same. You know, something could be, you know, to that R&B side, something could be really heavy, something could be funny, something could be a great ballad. And as a songwriter, that just kept it more interesting for me. I don't know if he feels the same way about it, but I mean, I think part of my problem over the years as far as getting, you know, bigger was the fact that I went in a lot of different directions. And it wasn't real easy to pigeonhole the band or me or what we did exactly. And, you know, but I looked at it as something that it keeps you interested in it. And like I said, it's a journey. And you're just going down a different road for a while. And you go, that was fun, but okay, now I'm going to go over here and now I'm going to go that way. I'm going to do it with these people or that people. Usually most of the people, and I think Todd's the same, they have a certain core of people they pull from, people who show up as, you know, in the live band or on the records. But when you're a guy like him and you do it all yourself, you know, you're not locked into that waiting for somebody to come and do the drum part. It's like, well, if he's not going to come, I'll do it myself.
Well, I hate to say the word end, because I don't know when his music career will end. I think Todd, if he keeps the energy that he has now, I think they're probably going to have to carry him off.
Well, once again, he's such a multifaceted, multi-talented dude. There's, you know, you could have the utmost respect for him on, like, you know, 9 different levels. He's a really cool producer, an engineer, you know, a songwriter extraordinaire, a performer, an amazing performer. And he probably could have made a decent living doing any one of those things and, you know, not done the others. But he chose to do them all and to grow as an artist. And I hope he realizes just how much he and his music mean to this area of the country. I mean, I think I hold them really close. And the cool thing about Northeast Ohio is if they take you in and they hold you, they hold you pretty tight, and that's a really cool thing.
I think Todd will, if he was 85, he would find some way to continue being innovative in the music industry.
And then you've got was it a true star, and there was like 40 minutes on each side, and you were like, how the hell are you doing this? You know, you couldn't even see the groove thing, and it was like, so once again, it was a really an interesting worldwide convention that he just said, I'm not going, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to put, you know, 122 songs on here and do this. And it was very freeing from that standpoint. It was like, well, maybe we can try something different. Maybe we can do this.
I guess I've